Hello everyone, DeckTrolls here, and like I said in my last deck profile, I have finally finished my Birdman deck. It is an archetype that did not exist, as far as I know. And I have made this solely through my pure imagination. I got no help from any YouTube videos because I didn't find anyone with anything like this. So here we go. You've got 2 Dark Simorgh. While face up on the field, this card is also Wind attribute. You can banish 1 Dark monster and 1 Wind monster from your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. You can banish 1 Dark monster and 1 Wind monster from your hand. Special summon this card from your graveyard. Your opponent cannot set any cards on the field. Now, this is one of the 2 main cards you want to get out on the field. This deck revolves around 2 basic strategies. Not letting your opponent use their spells and traps, and getting out your Owl Hunter to become really beefy. You've got 1 Simorgh, Bird of Divinity. This card cannot be special summoned. If you tribute summon this card, the tributes must be Wind. While this card is face up on the field, both players take 1,000 points of damage during each player's end phase. Decrease the damage each player takes when this happens by 500 points for each spell and trap card that the player controls. Now, normally people would say, yeah, this card sucks, and I don't disagree. But in the deck I have here, you're going to be sending your opponent's spells and traps back to the hand probably oftenly. And you're going to try to keep it that way. And you're going to have enough spells and traps to keep yourself pretty safe. You only run 1, so why not have that ability in here? Got 2 Alector, Sovereign of Birds. If your opponent controls 2 or more face-up monsters with the same attribute, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can select 1 face-up card on the field. Its effect is negated during that turn. There can only be 1 face-up Alector, Sovereign of Birds on the field. This is fun, purely because it's a really easy special summon. It's a 24-beat stick, and yeah, you gotta negate something that's bugging you. You're probably gonna have your Owl Hunter on the field by that point, and you could do some real damage. You've got 3 Swift Birdman Joe. This is the reason I made the deck, because 1, I feel like this card is just so funny. It reminds me of my old manager. He looked like a bird. Focus. Yeah. Swift Birdman Joe. His name is Joe. That's the whole thing that made it funny to me. So he requires 1 tribute to get off his effect. If you tribute summon this card by tributing a Wind monster, return all spells and traps on the field to the owner's hand. This isn't a problem generally because you're going to be summoning him and being able to put back your spells and traps. This would be a problem if you didn't have the ability to put out Dark Simorgh, but even then, summoning him on your turn and your opponent not being able to put out spells and traps is really good. Oh, your second boss monster, basically. You're going to see him a lot. Hunter Owl. Now, it's a level 4 wind monster. It's a winged beast. It has 1,000 attack. And it says this. This card gains 500 attack for each face-up wind monster you control. While you control another face-up wind monster, your opponent cannot select this card as an attack target. So even if you have just 2 of these on the field, your opponent can't attack either one, and they're both at 2,000. You're going to very often be capable of summoning 3, and they're going to be at 25. Then you just add another monster, they're at 3,000. Another monster, they're at 35. If you summon one from the extra deck, 4,000. 4,000 monsters. But generally, you're going to have them all at 25, and maybe even equip them with United We Stand, and it's going to be even stronger. We got 3 Flying Kamakiri. This is to special summon your Owl Hunter, because you're going to want to get that on the field really quickly. When this card is destroyed by a battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 wind monster with 1,500 or less attack from your deck in face-up attack position. Since it is 1,000 attack when it's in the deck, you're going to be able to get out, no problem. You have 3 Lady Ninja Yai. She is basically Swift Birdman Joe, except you don't have to tribute a monster, you just have to pitch a wind monster. By discarding 1 wind monster from your hand to the graveyard, return all spells and traps on your opponent's side of the field to the owner's hand. So pitch your wind monster, send all the cards back to the hand, summon Dark Samorg. Now your opponent can't put down any spells or traps. They can't set them. They could still use spells and quick spells, but not if you get the full lockout. Got 2 Garam, the Storm Vassal, just so you can reuse your Swift Birdman Joe. So if you already tribute summoned your Swift Birdman Joe, you can use Garam, send him back to the hand to special summon, tribute, and get him out and use his effect all over again. Got 2 Armageddon Knight so that you can summon your Dark Samorg. So this is an interesting thing that happened. So basically, I had a hand where I had a Dark Samorg in my hand, an Armageddon Knight, and a Wind Monster. So what I did was I summoned Armageddon Knight, I sent a Dark Samorg to the grave, I used the Dark Samorg to pitch the other Dark Monster in my hand and the Wind attribute. Get him out on the field. Generally, what you're going to want to do is send your other Armageddon Knight onto the grave, and you're probably going to have a Wind Monster in your grave already, and then you just summon him just like that from your hand if you got him. Okay, that's it for the for the monsters. Here's the spells. Now, Infernal Reckless Summon is super important. I want to have 3 in the deck, but I didn't know how exactly to push some cards aside. I know I could take out my Samorg Bird of Divinity, but I like it because it's just funny. But if you're going to build this deck and you don't want it, feel free to take it out. Add another Infernal Reckless Summon. So Infernal Reckless Summon, activate only when 1 monster with 1,500 or less attack is special summoned to your side of the field while your opponent controls a face-up monster. Special summon all cards with the same name as a summoned monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And graveyard, my bad. So you can summon from all of them. In face-up attack position, your opponent selects 1 face-up monster they control and special summons all cards with the same name from their hand, deck, and graveyard. So, that is the quickest way to get out your Owl Hunter, and there are plenty of ways to special summon him. We've got 2 Swallow's Nest. One of the ways to summon them. Tribute 1 face-up Winged Beast type monster. Special summon 1 Winged Beast type monster from your deck with the same level and tribute the tributed monster had on the field. So you could even tribute itself, have it go to the grave, summon another one, use your Inferno Reckless Summon, get all three of them on the field. Foolish Burial for either your Armageddon Knight or your Dark Simorgh, depending on your hand. But generally, you're going to be setting an Armageddon Knight. 1 Soul Charge for your basically finishing plays. Get out your Owl Hunter and then your Inferno Reckless Summon. 1 the Monarch Storm Force, so you can tribute your opponent's monster just to get out one of your monsters, because why not tribute their monster? It's just the right thing to do. Tribute one of their really bothersome monsters that are in your way. 1 Mass Change 2 to summon one of your 2 extra deck monsters. And lastly, 3 United We Stand, because you want to beef up your monsters. If you have your Dark Simorgh and your opponent has a monster with more than 27 attack, beef it up. Same goes with Owl Hunter. Owl Hunter's gonna generally be 25 on the field. Make it stronger. You add one of these, you're generally gonna have 3 Owl Hunters on the field, so that's an automatic 2400. Oh yeah. The equipped monster gains 800 attack and defense for each face-up monster you control. So lastly, for the traps, we have 2 Icarus attack, tribute 1 winged beast type monster, then target 2 cards on the field and destroy them. I have reluctantly tributed my Owl Hunter before for this, but that's because I knew it was going to finish my opponent off, or at least I was pretty sure. And yeah, this is super good, but I don't want to run it at 3 because generally my cards that are on the field are for protection. They're either meant to be destroyed by battle or they're meant to be used in other ways, but this is good for defense. Got 3 Call of the Haunted to get out your Owl Hunter or your Kamakiri or your other stuff like that. You're going to be getting out your Owl Hunter a lot. I already said this. It's going to happen. Got 1 Ninjutsu Art of Transformation for your Lady Ninja Yae. It's activate this card by tributing 1 face-up monster on your side of the field that includes Ninja in its card name. Special summon 1 Beast type, Winged Beast type, or Insect type monster with its level equal to or less than the level of the tributed monster plus 3 from your hand or deck to your side of the field. When this card is removed from your side of the field, destroy the monster. So you have 3 Lady Ninja Yae and you only have 1 of these because chances are you're not going to be able to do much. If you have 3 of these, you're going to brick a lot. But with 3-in-1 ratio, it works out really well. Yeah, it just works out really well. Escalation of the Monarchs, so you can tribute during your opponent's turn. You're going to be getting out your Swift Birdman Joe generally with this card. Yeah, that's its purpose. And lastly, 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance, the thing that makes the lock. So, alright, so Anti-Spell Fragrance. Both players must set spells before activating them and cannot activate them until their next turn after setting them. Dark Simorgh says your opponent cannot set any cards on the field. So, normally, they would be able to just play a spell or a quick play spell and that's it. This effect is not going to work out all the time. But if you have Anti-Spell Fragrance, they have to set it before they use it. So now, since they have to set it, and they're not allowed to set it, they cannot use their spells or traps. It's it's great. So you're basically going to cripple your opponent by making them forced to use only monsters. Now, of course, this deck has lost by dinosaurs because they were flipped face down, but that's okay because, you know, every deck has a weakness. And so lastly, for the extra deck, I have one Mass Hero Divine Wind. Must special summon, be special summoned with mass change, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Your opponent can attack with only one monster during each battle phase. When this card is destroyed by an opponent's monster by battle or and sends it to the graveyard, you can draw one card. So yeah, if it destroys one, you can draw a card. If it goes to the grave. And then your Mass Hero Dark Law. Must be special summoned with mass change and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Any card sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead. Once per turn, if your opponent adds one card or cards, if your opponent adds card or cards from their deck to their hand, except during the draw phase or damage step, you can banish one random card from your opponent's hand. Alright guys, so this is my Birdman deck. Tell me, this is my original deck that I have made solely on my own. Tell me what you think. How would you improve it? Feel free to use my decks as your ideas. Well, don't say it's your idea, but you know, feel free to use them because these are really fun. I play tested this deck and it was so much fun. Alright guys, please like and subscribe. I have 100+ decks and they're practically all budget friendly, so there's going to be a lot of fun content coming your way. Please make sure to like and subscribe and make sure to have fun. That's what's important.